Okay, Kamen, how? How? How did you make a whole video about furries, call back to Sentai, and not reference the animal Sentai, in Super Sentai? How? I was saving it for this video. Alright, for starters, Gozyuger just came out, let it breathe. Second, the series that are designated as Animal Sentai by the Senkai canon are animal themed, but they have another theme more predominant. For example, Live Man is more science oriented, as seen by the fact that they literally announced they modified and created their suits with science, and Jetman is more drama oriented. I mean, that's kind of why it's popular. And unfortunately, I haven't watched Ginga Man to form an opinion. Oh, Ginga, like that video. So now that leaves us with two. Gal Ranger I like, but after talking with my friend Toko on my Discord server, hey Toko, join our server, I realized I much prefer Wild Force better. Gal Ranger is good, don't get me wrong, but cast and story-wise, I much preferred Wild Force. I mean, there's a whole incel arc technically, so yeah. And that leaves us with the Sentai of today, Doubutsu Sentai Zyuohger. I love Zyuohger. Zyuohger holds a special place in my heart for being the first Sentai series to greet me when I arrived back in 2016. Immediately researching Super Sentai, I saw how it was currently airing, and while I did struggle to keep up starting in August, I genuinely enjoyed it. It was the first series I finished, first series to get merch from, and overall just a fun series that I'm glad I started with. For my first Sentai, it was pretty easy to impress me, whether it was the cool animal motif, hey, like furries, yeah, the funny Minecraft block mechas that I liked, or the characters. And one character that stands out is the ever-passionate and cool Kazakiri Yamato, Zyuohger. When Sentai fans talk about Great Red Rangers, Yamato is for sure to come up, and for good reason. Yamato throughout Zyuohger is a passionate leader that always looks out for the team, and is confident not only about his role as Zyuohger, but with his goals to protect everyone. He isn't the loud or energetic Sentai Red Rangers like the previous Takeharu King, nor is he the serious cold one like Takeru. Rather, Yamato is one passionate about his job as a zoologist. His goal is to protect the life of the planet, and protecting the zoo men and humans and bringing them home to their world. Yamato is one that puts his goals first and makes sure to uplift others along the way. But today, we're gonna look at the time he was famous Shining Smile member Issei and motivates his Doujin drawing boyfriend Shouninyokkyuu or Mamoru or Mamochi. In the BL, Kabesa Doujin Sakka no Neko Yashiki-kun wa Shouninyokkyuu wo Kojiraseteiru, or Kabe Koji Neko Yashiki-kun desires to be recognized. Okay, that took a lot more takes than I realized. Kabe Koji is such a fun series because of the concept. The romantic love between two childhood friends, one who walks down the path of an idol, and the other, a popular doujinshi mangaka who specializes in BL and part of the famous Kabe, or Wall Group. The story primarily follows the famous BL/gay komi mangaka. We covered this in a video, but you must be 18 or over to watch. If you're not 18, stay away from it. Hi, Mutton Shop Guy, what's up? Shouninyokkyuu, or his real name, Mamoru. As we not only see him navigate the struggles and times of being a doujin artist, but also reconnecting and falling in love with one of his biggest fan and childhood friend, Issei. Issei isn't just any other fan. Rather, he is the star of one of Japan's biggest up-and-coming idol groups, Shining Smile. The series revolves around two men bonding, reflecting on their childhood memories, the way that their goals benefited from each other, and of course their goals going forward in the future, with both having something in common, the desire to be loved for their work and recognized. True to its name, Kabe Koji is about this desire to, well, be recognized. As the romance between Issei and Mamochi blossoms, so does their desires to be number one and keep going to, well, be approved. For Mamochi, it's not only keeping his spot on the wall at Komi Kingdoms, but also creating the idealized manga he wants and truly desires. And for Issei, it's to get his idol group to the top and pretty much be seen as the high-tier celebrities that they strive to be. However, their goals are easier said than done, as Kabe Koji shows the competitive fields and the several landmines that come with their own careers. Mamochi is a fun protag to follow along with because his career as a doujin mangaka is so unique in contrast to other BL series, and as such the motivation to follow the plot to see where it takes him and the challenges he faces is also pretty in demand. Seeing Mamochi suffer from artist block, anxiety of losing his spot, and his own pessimistic view on how the circle groups work and the people in it, all the while he's struggling with the strong feelings for Issei alone, is such a great dynamic, as well as a nice way to tell a story without falling back on tropes. It's such a unique and new experience for those who watch BL. And not to mention, I love how Mamochi's story is that of a loner, as he's pretty isolated for being gay. A plot point brought up in episode 3 where they see him getting harassed for drawing gay or dirty pictures for being a pervert. It also establishes the fact that, well, Mamochi is just a full-on loner. He refuses to really interact with anyone and pretty much works alone. It gives the viewer a sense of isolation that follows the protagonist, not only to show who Mamochi is at the beginning of the series, but also makes his development and his relationship with Issei way more rewarding as the series continues onward. Issei as a love interest and the secondary protagonist doesn't slack off either. Issei's interactions with his idol group and the trials that come with it not only helps illustrate how Issei plays off of them well, but also how Issei handles this idea of being a celebrity alongside his friends, as well as also Mamoru, who's a smaller celebrity. Issei, like Mamochi, is sorta alone. While yes, he has raving fans and his idol group, Issei is seen as a celebrity that must retain his image and his schedule, whether it was having to sneak out to see Mamochi at Comic Kingdom or being forced in a martial law sort of situation by his idol manager because of a big scandal. Issei is forcefully isolated and molded into the perfect idol, but nevertheless, he not only persists to be his full caring self, but also the man that loves Mamoru and wants to see him smile. What I love is how the message of the story fully revolves around being your best self and listening to others about what makes you great. Mamoru's struggle to find self-worth and how he sees it with Issei is great, but also what really matters is the relationships between the other characters in the story. For example, Mamoru's trusty sales assistant and pretty much sidekick Yamato is such a fun mix because not only is she a fan, but she is also always there to cheer up and motivate Mamoru with a beef dinner, even when he flat out refuses. The dynamic of her being a fan and also his assistant not only shows how dedicated she is to the Doujin circle and community, but it shows that despite Mamoru's own self-deprecation and his own shortcomings, there are people who wish to be around him and help him. This is also true when we meet minor characters such as Framboise, who falls in love with Mamoru for his tsundere attitude, and god I love him, he's so silly, he's so awesome, and Takun, the young fan inspired by Mamoru's work to the point he also publishes alongside Mamoru in Comic Kingdom. It's because of these characters and Issei that Mamoru is able to realize his self-value. Thus, when we see these characters interact with him again, his stance changes even when things get rough, such as being removed from the wall and demoted. Another character I want to highlight as well is Issei's fellow idol groupmate Tsubasa. His backstory in episode 5 and explaining his somewhat strict behavior is such a nice relief from the main plot, but also a heartwarming one that sticks to the theme of believing in yourself. Tsubasa at first doubting his true goal of being an idol, only originally there to just support his friend, but he truly realizes he enjoys it, and after his friend gets into an accident, he starts to enjoy and love being an idol, to the point that he takes it serious, as we see with his interactions in Shiny Smile in the present. It's a great way to not only develop the characters, but also build up the main internal conflict Issei and Mamoru face through an outside perspective. Kabe Koji's strong point is his cast and its unique plot points of idol and doujin artists, and the ending is such a satisfying one that even the protagonist of the doujinshi is happy. No, seriously, this was so funny but satisfying to watch. Just watch him go from talking to Mamochi and then smiling. I love that detail. I appreciate that gag. To conclude, Kabe Koji is a unique and personally fun watch, and I definitely recommend it. Hey Munchop guy, you would like it, look at the art. If not for the fun cast or unique premise, then for the blossoming romance between the two leads. And for this video, we're gonna look at Issei's actor, Masaki Nakao, as his role as Zyuohger Yamato. There is a good reason that Yamato is so highly regarded as a Red Ranger in the Sentai fandom, and it's the fact that the writers handled him well and made good use of his role as a leader in the series. They didn't have to rely on past Red Ranger tropes to simply make him interesting, as Yamato is able to show his character strengths and his leadership role on his own merits, while also complementing this Jew-man/human dynamic the series has going for it. This is heavily in part to his actor, Nakao Masaki's way to help develop bonds. Nakai's strength as an actor is shown when he plays opposite of someone, and usually when they are conflicting with each other. It is there that one is the reason for them to keep going and or change their worldview, one that challenges their stance on such, and because of it are able to develop as a person. This is shown with Issei and Mamochi, but also Yamato with the man who gives him the power of Zyuohger, Larry. For context, Larry is a gorilla Jew-man who at first takes interest in humans and studies them along with Bud, but quickly hides and retracts from them after an incident where he's shot by humans. Despite getting along with the rest of the Zyuohgers, Yamato is the outlier for being human, causing Larry to completely push Yamato away to the point where he even pushes the other Zyuohgers away because of his association with such. However, as the arc progresses, Larry is able to see past his trauma and prejudice and bless Yamato with the power of Zyuohger. Yamato was able to achieve this because he showed Larry his natural gift as a leader and his passion for animals. In episode 5, Larry witnesses Yamato's kindness and resolve to support people that completely contradicts his stigma of humans, simply by looking at Yamato talking to a deer. Yamato's authentic self was what shattered Larry's own prejudice. Nakao takes what he learns and transferred it to Issei, as now he is on the receiving end, specifically how Mamoru encouraged him to smile. For context, Issei was always ashamed to smile because his dad discouraged it, putting him down. However, it was when Mamoru said in class, "You should be an idol if you want to smile," is what pushed him to really push the idea of being an idol, and so he did. I love how you can see Yamato in this. Once someone encouraging a man burdened by his trauma to open up, now on the receiving end of such and following his own words through the man he loves so much, and being encouraged to change his worldview and push forward. Nakao is great when he plays off of characters that motivate each other to grow, because through Yamato and Issei, he brings such an authentic vibe that makes the characters feel real. They feel like genuine people that not only the audience can relate to, but for the other characters to feel comfortable in and work well with. For example, how Yamato comforts a homesick Sella who misses her family, or how Issei comforts Tsubasa after the newspaper scandal by bringing his homeroom teacher to a meeting to clear up the allegations. It shows how Nakao is an actor who has sympathy and kindness as his strong point. That's what sells him as an actor, and it works well. The final part of this analysis is that there is a theme that follows Nakao throughout both Zyuohger and Kabe Koji, and that is the theme of selflessness. Both Issei and Yamato are characters that put others over themselves and want to help others no matter the cost, whether it be fighting Bunglei on his own or Issei proudly declaring he'll never have a scandal. It shows how Nakao's strength is showing how considerate his characters are despite the drawbacks it potentially brings him. This is also amplified by the antagonist of each series. For Zyuohger, the Deaf Galleons, who see humanity and the planet Earth as a simple stage to play their sadistic games no matter who they hurt. And for Kabe Koji, idol culture, which is a strict society hell-bent on either making you the perfect figure or destroying your figure without remorse. Either you conform or you don't. It's how Issei and Yamato are able to counter such, not only morally, but also physically, that makes them not only great, but selfless. Mostly physically for Yamato. I mean, he unlocks Zuo Whale, so yeah. For example, sticking up for Tsubasa or trying to spend time with Mamoru despite his idol duties show that Issei is willing to fight against idol culture's strict binds to show his compassion and how much he cares for the people in his life and for the man he loves. This is also shown with Yamato, especially when we learn his backstory. A man who was gifted the power of Zuo Eagle to survive thanks to Bud, who was saved by Yamato's father, which causes him to look out for the animals in return as a zoologist. A man who loved his mother and was there till her final moments, even comforting a mimic of her made by Bunglei, which motivates him to protect Mario and the other Zyuohgers, afraid of losing family like that again. Yamato is someone who's perfect for a Red Ranger, not only for his strong aspects as a leader, but also because of his willingness to go above and beyond for the people he cares about. Okay, another thing I realized, Junko Komura, the lead writer for Zyuohger, is a great writer, but what's with her fetish for killing moms? Like, this happened in Zyuohger with Yamato's mom, then she was the lead writer of Zenkaiger with, Stacy's mom, and now she's the lead writer of Gav with both Shoma and Hanto's mom. Oh, also, yeah, Wizard with, Haruto's parents dying in front of him as a child. Like, she really loves killing off moms, yeah. So, Gav watchers, expect Shoma's mom to come back and haunt him later in the season, I'm calling it. Wow. And also, this makes Issei a strong romantic partner because he learns to not only balance his self-love with Mamoru, but also his love for others. Both of them are able to love each other, and Yamato is able to still support his friends and family and be champion of the sky. Sorry if this analysis was a bit shallow, it's just, honestly I realized Kabe Koji is the BL I needed. I've been kind of struggling with some mental things, according to Amberlynn Reed, but the truth is I kind of need it. I've just been struggling with my self-worth and all that, so I really need to see this. So thank you, Nakao Masaki, for bringing this BL to life, as well as the rest of the cast. I really appreciate it, and thank you for reminding me, like, my roots as a Toku fan. I forgot how much Zyuohger meant to me as one of the first series I watched, but also what got me into Sentai pretty much alongside other series. So thank you for this watching, and thank you for Kabe Koji and Zyuohger. I really needed you guys.